Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this here is color schemes throughout the decade, which was a challenge for me to use one of those color schemes as my inspiration for this layout. I chose the 1890s, which had a couple greens, a couple blues, a couple yellows. I'm interpreting the yellow as a gold, so you'll see me pulling in some gold on this page, and that is kind of a nod to that challenge. But that was an International Scrapbooking Day challenge for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and that is what I made this page based around. This is the second layout with my How to Kill a Kit with Style. You saw that first layout I made. I dug into all the color. I made a multicolor page. It was a lot of fun kind of digging into all the different goodies that Christina sent me. This second page, I wanted to really hone in on a couple colors and just play like I usually like to play. I usually love to just pick a couple colors from a collection, not all of them, and kind of focus on them. And I really felt like this color scheme I chose to work with for the challenge would be perfect. I know I had this gorgeous scenic background photo. I love, or not photo, but paper. This background paper is so cool. It's kind of a photorealistic landscape with some hills and a gorgeous blue sky with some fluffy white clouds, and I was just so inspired by it, and it was right on with my color scheme. So you can see to the left there, before I turned on the camera, I went ahead and just went through all my ephemera. I only pulled out whatever was gold, blue, and green. So I kind of have everything else set to the side just so I can focus on that. Same with my 6x8 paper pad. I went ahead and just set out the papers that were within this color scheme, kind of set everything else aside. Same with my 12x12s. I'm not going to cut into any other 12x12s because I felt like I had enough scraps and smaller sheets to work with. I knew I was going to do some smaller layers on this one, because I really still just wanted to play with ephemera more than paper layers. So I really am just cutting into this 6x8 really pretty teal distressed paper that was in the 6x8 paper pad. Again, I'm gutting, but I'm trying to stretch this so it can kind of frame both of these photos. These are two 4x6 photos. I trimmed down a little bit. But I went ahead and matted them on some white and staggered them, and I really wanted them framed within this teal, especially because I love the way this teal looks sitting on this green hilly background. So I think that's so cute. I'm kind of already playing with an embellishment cluster. You can see I set out a glassine bag, a doily, one of the frames, and I picked out another rainbow. This rainbow is just blue and green, so I thought it was perfect for this color scheme. It's raining still. If you hear that in the background, I'm sorry. I know my last process video for this collection, it was thunderstorming too. But I loved the idea. I used the glassine bag that Christina actually sent a bunch of goodies in, the larger glassine bag on the last page, and I loved the way the glassine bag looked with this collection. So I went into my stash and pulled out another, smaller glassine bag, and I'm going to incorporate that into one of these clusters too. But I loved having, there's a lot of rich colors with this green and this blue and this teal. I really thought having some lighter white layers, it kind of nods to the clouds that are in the background, but it also helps break up all of those richer tones. So I have my little green frame here. I saved a chunk of that to be to the left here. I'm kind of doing a very similar thing with the first page, which is the frame, where I cut the frame in half, and I'm going to have it tucked into two separate sides of my photo and kind of have that be the base for my embellishment cluster. So instead of the first page where I had it on the left and the right branching out from the photos, I have one on the top and one on the side. So it kind of creates that L design that I really love. But I love my cluster to the top here. I kind of moved the rainbow down to the bottom right hand corner to cover the gap where I had to trim that teal paper and stretch it so it matted the photos the way I wanted. And same with the left here. I'm going to have to come up with some kind of idea to cover the gap where there's that teal gap there, but I'm thinking I'm going to have an embellishment cluster there anyway, so I'm really not worried. I'll do the same thing I did on the right and cover it like I did with the rainbow. But yeah, I just love digging into this collection like this and just pulling in a couple colors, and I love the way the teal and the green look in this collection together, so I was just super happy. I did pop the rainbow up on some foam, and now I am popping this little cut apart to the you and me up on some foam just so there's some dimension there too. I decided to layer, since the you and me is a teal, I decided to layer this green ticket behind there just for a little layery goodness. And I'm just playing around with that. I love this little tag too that I keep trying to put in the upper right hand cluster. It's basically the background paper, but there's a little white tree on it that says Adventure Chaser. This is one of the last photos. I have one more page to do for my Helen trip, and then my Helen trip will be done too. But this was when we were around downtown just having fun. Marcus saw that I was scrapbooking this photo of him and just kind of rolled his eyes like, "You're not going to show them that picture, are you?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." He's like, "Fine." But there's this hat store in downtown, Helen, and he really wanted to go in and try some hats on. He's all about like trying on like those bowler hats. Like he won't ever buy them because he knows he won't use them in real life, but he thinks they're so cool. But while he was trying on those kinds of hats, I found this little like raccoon hat and I made him try it on so I could take a picture, and you can see how thrilled he is about that. But I had to scrapbook it. And this photo to the left here, we're kind of taking a break. We went to one of the chocolate shops. They have a bunch of kind of chocolate shops and fudge shops and stuff in downtown Helen too, and we got ourselves some turtles. So we're just snacking on that in that other photo as well. But I love our little adventures, and I would say we're adventure chasers. We love to kind of do vacations where we can do some really cool things and things we wouldn't, normally get to do. So I want to definitely get that little green tag on here at some point. Right now it's sitting in that one cluster, but I'll end up moving it. And then again, same with my first page, I really want to try and get labels in all of my clusters this month because there's so many good labels I have to work with between all the sticker sheets. So I decided I'm really covering my blue and my green, but there's that yellow in my color scheme I'm supposed to be pulling in. So I wanted to pull in some gold. So I did reach for a gold label, and I kind of have cut it into two pieces and had that on either side of the lower clusters. I definitely want to pull some gold up into that top cluster as well, just so that's all balanced. Again, gutting, I can't help myself, but I just went ahead and patched it again with a scrap piece of black. I thought I trimmed this part out, but I've been just trimming this part out of my process, so you don't have to watch it every single time, but this is what I do for those who missed it on my last video where I did trim it out. I just, patch the back of it with a scrap piece of paper, just so it's more stable and I have a backing to glue down all these layers on, especially because my photo layers are very pieced together, as you can see on the back here. But now that my hole is patched, I'm going to go ahead and get this part glued down. I know my title, Christina sent me some really cute pink, fresh, green puffy stickers, so I know with this blue and green color scheme I really want to use that for my title, but I'm not quite sure where that's going to go. I'm trying to keep that in the back of my mind, but now that I have this glued down I can really finish out these clusters. I really didn't want to branch out too much because I just love this background paper, and I feel right now I have a good balance of you being able to see this background and it also not being distracting. Again, the awesome rub-ons that Christina sent with this collection I had to use. I'm really going to try and use some of those on every page I do as well. And for this one, I just thought this kind of text rub-on would be really cool coming out from these clusters. So you can see I kind of have several little pieces I trimmed out, and I'm going to try and do that rub-on in each of these 3 embellishment areas. Of course, I just glued down these layers, so I'm trying to not have to pull everything back up again. So you can see me trying to do these rub-ons around all my other bits. But I think this rub-on is so cool. I love this rub-on set she sent me. I think it's awesome. And I think it adds a whole nother layer and dimension on my page. I just love how it looks. So I'm just working on that. These rub-ons are really nice. They rub on really nicely. I haven't had any issues with kind of resistance from it not wanting to get on the paper. But I know rub-ons usually do have a shelf life, and the longer they sit in your stash, the harder it is to use them, because they kind of just get stale and don't want to work for you. So I'm really trying to use these rub-ons, as much of them as I can during this month, because I love them. I don't want them to go to waste. Again, here's this tiny little bit I'm putting over here by the rainbow. I just wanted a little bit of detail. You might not even notice that, but for those of you who will notice that, I appreciate myself that that rub-on is in each area, even if it's just a tiny bit. So there we go. Got my rub-ons on. I love that. I was initially thinking I might just keep the rest of the page open, but I realized I need to get this tag used up, and I wanted to move the tag away from the cluster I originally had it sitting on because I needed a gold element in that cluster. So you can see I've now pulled in this little gold circular piece that says these are the days I want to remember. And now that that's there, I figured I can use this cutie little tag in the upper left-hand corner, do a little mini embellishment cluster up there, and that way I'll kind of get it used up. There's going to be a little bit of interest up there, but it's not going to be super distracting. And now that I'm pulling in these gold elements, I'm going to go ahead and get some other things on here too. There's this really cute little love speech bubble kind of on Instagram or Pinterest. When you hit the like, it has that little speech bubble with the heart. I love that little embellishment, so I layered that over by the rainbow. And now you can see these other gold hearts that come in the ephemera. I really wanted to layer those in each of these clusters and just go ahead and get them used up. My last page, I really focused on those really cute wood veneer hearts as my kind of special thing in my clusters. And then for this page, I really wanted all these really sweet gold hearts to be that thing. I also love this soft vellum piece that says dreamy. I was thinking about maybe trying to incorporate that into my title, so you can see me trying to play around. I would love my title to go right there over my photos, kind of leading into that top cluster. But once I realized I really did want to use the green alphabet that Christina sent me, I went ahead and took it off, and I'm just going to do my title in the green alphabet because I think that's going to be really cool. But before I get there, I did want to figure out what I'm doing with this tag up here. The tag itself is green, so with my color scheme, I know I want to pull in some blue and some gold. So again, I just went through all the labels in my stash with this collection and pulled out a blue and a gold. And that's pretty much what I'm going to have layered up there. I'm really trying to pay attention to all of my stickers I have to work with, because it's really easy for me to use the ephemera because I can just have it out on my desk. I can move it around freely. With stickers, obviously, because they're sticky, you can't just have them all laying out. And so sometimes I forget about them, and there's so many good stickers I have with this collection. I want to make sure I keep revisiting them and I don't ignore them, because I know I'll reach for the ephemera right away and forget about stickers. But there you saw, I just went through my sticker book again to pull in an extra little sticker, just a light blue that says lovely. I really like this light blue that is in the background. It's also in my little rainbow, so I thought it would be nice if I could pull in a light blue in that cluster too, because that label is like that darker teal color. Anyways, so I kind of have my clusters down. I have my hearts everywhere. Now that I added this cluster to the upper left hand, though, I was like, oh, I want a little bit of a rub on up there too, just so it all goes together. So you can see me kind of just trimming out a couple tiny little pieces from some of the other bits and bobs on that rub-on sheet, just so there's a little something up there too. And again, you might not even notice it. But to me, I really love that that rub-on is represented in each of these little areas. I just think that's such a cool touch. So I'm getting those on there. I'm pretty sure the last thing I need to do my title. And I know I still want to, even though I have these really cute gold hearts, I still want a finishing touch that's something like enamel dots or Nuvo drops or something. So excuse me, I'll go through my stash in a minute to try and figure that out, because I'm pretty sure I do have some teal enamel dots. So I'm gonna, there they are, there. So from Gingham Farms, I actually have some Brads and some enamel dots left over from Gingham Farms, which is My Mind's Eye collection I used a couple years ago, and I've been hoarding those because I love that teal, but I just haven't had a chance to use it. So this was perfect. So there I am with that sweet puffy alpha sheet. All I'm doing is calling it Helen Fun. I was going to say like downtown or fun downtown or something like that. But I was just looking at all the letters that I'm going to be using if I did longer titles, and I really don't want to kill the sticker sheet right away. Even with this title, I'm already using 2 E's and 2 N's, which stresses me out a little bit because those are letters that always go first, and then I'm kind of stuck as far as title goes. But at least this title's shorter than some of the other ones I was thinking about. So that's another thing I was just thinking about as I'm putting this together. But that fits nicely up there. I like the green. I like how it's not super distracting. It kind of blends into the background from this overhead view, but you can see in person, you can actually see that really clearly. It looks super blended in from this top-down view, but that's very legible. And now that I have the title down, I'm going in with my finishing touches. I'm just going to have one brad in 3 areas with a little enamel dot friend, and that's all I'm going to do. So this larger cluster up here, I'm going to do the 2, which I think is cute because I already have this little square that says you plus me. So I think the 2 from this brad collection is just perfect and kind of reinforces that idea. That's me and Marcus. So I have that brad there with a little enamel dot, and then I'm doing a brad to the left here with the frame, and then I'll do one in the upper corner with that cutie little tag, just so there's a visual triangle with these teal elements. But I think that's so cute. I love that I got another rainbow on here. I had a lot of fun with this page. I love doing this where I just focus on a couple colors, so this one was a lot of fun. So we'll see what I do with the next one, but here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.